The 2016 Major League Baseball playoffs are underway, and the Chicago Cubs are set to take on the San Francisco Giants in the NLDS. After a dominating performance from Madison Bumgarner on Wednesday night, in which he threw a complete game shutout against the New York Mets, the San Francisco Giants hopped on a plane, headed to Chicago to battle the Cubs. Addison Russell was the only Cub that admitted who he'd rather play coming out of the wild card game, but majority of Cub fans made it very clear they wanted to face the Mets instead of the Giants. That's just how postseason baseball goes, though. You're never going to get an easy matchup in the playoffs, and the Giants will be a tough one in the NLDS for the Cubs. Right now, we're going to preview the pitching matchups and what to look for throughout a series against a team that has won the World Series 3 times in the last 5 years. It will not be an easy task for the Cubs lineup to get through the starters that the Giants will be sending to the mound, as this team probably matches up with the Cubs rotation better than any other playoff team. Game 1 will feature Jon Lester in the mound for the Cubs, as the lefty in his second year with Chicago put up Cy Young consideration numbers, going 19-5 with a 2.44 ERA and 197 strikeouts. Lester was 1-1 this season against the Giants, and in his last start against the Giants back in September, Lester took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. Jon has clearly been the ace of this team this season, but he will be going against a pitcher the Cubs are familiar with but have had little success against, and that is Johnny Cueto. The stats for Johnny Cueto this season are almost similar to Jon Lester's, as Cueto went 18-5 with a 2.79 ERA, and that was the starting pitcher for the NL in the All-Star game this season. The Cubs have faced Cueto numerous times before when he spent his time with the Cincinnati Reds, but over the last 3 seasons, they're hitting a combined 226 off of him. Game 2 will feature another pitcher from the Giants who the Cubs have only faced once in his career but are very familiar with him. Jeff Samardzija will take the mound for the Giants. Samardzija was drafted by the Cubs in 2006 out of Notre Dame and pitched for the Cubs from 2008 to 2014. He was then traded along with Jason Hamill to Oakland for shortstop Addison Russell. It's one of the all-time greatest trades made in Cubs history, but you know going into this game, Samardzija will want to show everyone in Chicago what they gave up. Samardzija will be opposed by the Cubs' breakout star, Kyle Hendricks, who was 16-8 on the season while leading all of baseball with his 2.13 ERA. Hendricks has been dominating at home, as well as where he possesses a 1.32 ERA at Wrigley Field this season. Game 3 will turn to AT&T Park in San Francisco, where the matchup will feature Jake Arrieta for the Cubs. Arrieta got off to a great start this season, posting a 2.68 ERA before the All-Star break, but after the break, Arrieta has struggled, having an ERA of 3.69 and in the month of September posting a 4.60 ERA. He will look to get back on track against Madison Bumgarner, who is one of the all-time great postseason pitchers, as he has a record of 8-3 with a 1.94 ERA along with 3 shutouts. The Cubs had to face Bumgarner twice this season and had a 1.3 ERA against the Cubbies, including a start at AT&T Park where Bumgarner went 7 2/3 innings pitched, giving up no runs. So that is your preview of the Cubs' first 3 playoff games for you. As I wrap this up, I remind you, don't expect a lot of offense in this series, as these are probably the best 2 pitching staffs in the postseason. One thing you can expect is a lot of close games. In the most recent series between these 2 ball clubs in September, all 4 games of the series were decided by 1 run, with the Cubs winning 3 of the 4. For my pick in this series, I'm going with the Chicago Cubs, as they are more rested than the Giants are right now. Also, with the Cubs lineup being far better than the Giants, I say Cubs win the series in 4 games. This is James Darby signing off, and I'll see you after Game 1.